Mother Nature is winning today.
Bang! Mizuno Neo Vista 2. It's a gray and rainy day outside today. We're going to get some miles in this. Hopefully the rain clears up, but it's cold. It's about 58 degrees American right now. But I'm super excited about this. This is one of the shoes that I'm actually the most excited about recently. And it's weird because I was not excited at all for the Neo Vista 1. Well, maybe I was. I don't remember my excitement meter going into this, but this was a very disappointing mid shoe. I didn't like it that much. I actually came around to it in the past few months, using it as more of a chill recovery mile shoe. The foam just didn't do it for me. But since the release of this, which is fine, Mizuno has been on a heater. They've been on a tear, just dropping banger after banger. So Neo Zen right here, one of the best daily trainers out right now, and my favorite pick for soft, bouncy, fun miles. This thing comes in super light. You get a bunch of foam, and that's the thing with Mizuno right now. They've just been innovating in the foam department. So this thing was a complete banger. $150. I think they could have priced it at $180 to $200, and it still would have sold and been competitive with those shoes, but undercuts the market, offers some value in the segment. And then you have the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Pro 3, which looks silly in this colorway, and I really think it worked against Mizuno. It just doesn't even look like a serious shoe with this black and white zebra thing going on, but it is. This is one of the best soft and bouncy, fast, aggressive race shoes. I like this more than the Saucony Endorphin Elite. I like this more than the Adios Pro 4. I like this more than the Cielo X1 2.0. And what Mizuno is trying to do with this shoe was exactly what Hoka was trying to do with the Cielo X1 2.0, which is put more foam into the midfoot to get around the World Athletics regulations about you have to have the lower stack height in the back around 12.5%. If you're not familiar with that, World Athletics measures the height from the back here at 12.5% from the back of the platform, and that's where it needs to be below 40. So it is below 40 here, and then in the middle you get about 60 millimeters of foam, which is just wild. So Mizuno has been innovating, dropping awesome foams, awesome shoes, creative geometries, with competitive pricing. This is $250. A lot of the shoes that use the fun, creative, excessive foam geometry in the race segment are up at $275, $300, which is why my main concern with the Neo Vista, and I guess with Mizuno in general right now, with the two, is the fact that they bumped this up to $200. I already thought the Neo Vista 1 was overpriced at $180. Because, man, it just, again, this foam was just not competitive, and that's one of the updates they're doing in the 2. They've moved away from using 100% of the supercritical EVA foam, and you can just look at this here as I push it in. It's just not a very lively compound. Great for impact absorption, and it was decently lightweight, especially because they just took a chunk of it out of the bottom, but the bounce was not there. This was more of a comfort cruiser for me that wasn't too nimble for picking up the pace. It was a good shoe for racking up mileage and comfort. But yeah, $180. I felt that at that price point, man, you're getting a lot more value from other shoes, just more fun, more excitement, or lighter weights. The Superblast is $20 more expensive for people who like that shoe. The MagMax was my pick in this mileage segment, and it just gives more fun, more bounce. Hoka Mach X2 is $10 more expensive than this. That is a way faster, more versatile ride for me. So this one just did not do it, and they're changing things up in the Vista 2 in terms of the tech, but also going up to $200, which that's questionable. That is questionable for sure. Because Mizuno, like Puma, and this is why it's so important that brands know their position, man. Mizuno, like Puma, they are the value brands. You got to be offering value. The reason why the Neo Zen became so popular is because it's $150. I think it could compete with the shoes at $180 and $200, but if they priced it at that price point, nobody would buy it. So my question was, maybe they're doing this as a way to drive more sales to the Zen. Maybe they're just pricing this at $200 as a red herring. maybe they don't actually want anybody to buy it. Maybe they want people to buy the Neo Zen at $150. That's interesting, right? That's a conspiracy theory. But no, I do think they want to split the Neo Zen and Neo Vista, have more difference between them in this next generation, because with the Neo Vista 1 and the Zen, when this was the current lineup, everyone was just saying, get the Zen, get the Zen. There's no point for the Vista now that the Zen is out. So hopefully, and I didn't even bring out the Wave Rebellion Flash 2. Let me grab that for a sec. So this is their other training shoe in this more exciting category. They have a bunch of other shoes like the Sky and the Horizon. Those are more of their standard traditional shoes, but this is a marathon or a speed training shoe, Wave Rebellion Flash 2, that uses similar elements as the Wave Rebellion Pro series. So similar geometry out here, a lot of foam in the midfoot, but plastic plate and dual foam, not two of the race foams. And this is the guy that is designed for speed. I've actually only run in it one time still. Every time I bring it out, I see I need to run it again. Maybe I actually will run it again. Wouldn't that be nice to actually run in this thing again? But yeah, this was a really solid shoe to my memory, and Mizuno just hasn't really missed on the speed side. The Pro 2 was great. The Pro 3 is a banger, and this thing was great when I took it out for a workout. But point being, this is the fast workout option. The Neo Vista is more of the fast long run option, theoretically, right? And then the Neo Zen is the comfortable, fun, relaxed option. The Neo Vista is just caught in the middle of this framework here in the first generation. So that's the thing with the two. Hopefully they give it more of an identity. It just felt like a lost shoe in the OG that didn't quite have a place either in Mizuno's lineup or the market. So with that, let's open up this bad boy and see what we can get. So I did get hold on, let's just do our bada boom. Bada bang. Ooh, there we go. Bro, that is look at that bounce. And look at that bounce. That's a thick and chunky boy right here. Running Warehouse, they had this listed at 51 millimeters of stack in the back, which is just insane. Yeah, I did get the darker colorway here, the navy. That was all they had in my size when I ordered it. And I did buy this with my own money. I buy pretty much all the shoes with I actually buy all the shoes now with my own money. But yeah, I wasn't too sure about the dark colorway, but that was all they had. Now I'm glad I got this because it's raining today, so it's not going to get wrecked. Now, upper here, this is another one of these issues, and just one of these things where they did not correct the criticism from the OG. One of the main issues people had, and we'll see once I put it on foot, but a lot of people did not like the upper on the Vista. It's just kind of a sloppy system here. They did change it slightly. I can see the holes are bigger on the two. So, is the material different? It's still very similar. It's still a sock fitting upper. So hopefully they dialed it in more, but the fact that they went with the same exact system is concerning to me. It looks very similar. Let's see some other differences. Yeah, so main difference here, before I get lost in all these minor critiques, they went to dual foam. So the top layer now is the Mizuno Energy Next. So this should be more similar to the foam that is in the Neo Zen on the top. So the soft, bouncy foam from the Neo Zen on the top, and then similar foam on the bottom here, similar foam as the Vista 1. So it's like they took the Vista 1 and slapped the Neo Zen on top, kept the plastic plate. And this bottom foam, it's actually not bad for what this shoe is trying to do, and I think it's actually going to provide a nice ride because it was comfortable, it was smooth, and it was stable. It just wasn't bouncy at all. So this should correct the issues that I had because I was just really wanting for more bounce, more excitement, and more fun out of this shoe for $180. Now, is changing the foam in here going to make it worth $200? I don't know, and we'll see with the tariff pricing if $200 now becomes standard, but I can only compare it to where the market has been and where the market is now. And for me, that still feels steep. That, especially for Mizuno, I think they're getting greedy here. They're looking ahead and thinking, okay, we had the Neo Zen, that was a hit. We had some other shoes that have done well. We can bump up the price. I'm disappointed that they did that, but hey, maybe it's going to be a crazy banger and it'll be worth $200. But yeah, this foam feels a lot nicer. You can see as I'm pushing it in here, it's decently soft, and I can feel it pushing back out, giving me some return. And then the bottom one, that's going to be there for the comfort. Similar to the Superblast 2 setup where you get the bouncier, more race-oriented foam on the top, and then more of a training foam on the bottom. Now, rubber. This rubber feels different too. I don't know if they even said anything about that, but this feels a lot grippier. We'll see this morning. It feels like a better compound. They've also put more teeth in it. This last stuff was just, they laid it out in a super smooth way, which is weird. And then they've also closed up the hole on the bottom. So that was one of the things that I did not like in the OG. It felt really weird running on top of nothing. This is an issue that I had in the Puma Fast R3 as well. And sometimes it goes away, but it's just distracting, this feeling of wanting to land, especially in the midfoot, and then there being nothing to land on. It's almost this fatiguing sensation that my foot was getting tired because it didn't have the support there. So I hope that's corrected by what they've done here. So if you can see in the middle of the Vista 2, they've closed up that chasm, that hole. So it's now, there are two holes. There was just one big hole on the Vista OG. Now there are two littler, smaller holes on the Vista 2. Around the back, very similar design, and again, this looks like a super similar shoe. They've kept the spirit intact. The main difference here is just that softer top layer. I'm trying to even pick up any other differences, and it's hard to find. So main things, slightly revised upper, bigger holes, hopefully more breathable. You get the new foam, the Energy Next on top, and then they've closed up that bottom and added the rubber. So a few minor updates, one big update. Of course, the midsole do not lie. So we'll get it out there, see how it does for some mileage. But first, let's see how much stack this thing has in the back, because Running Warehouse said 51 gosh dang millimeters. This is a large shoe. It can barely fit under the stackerator. Look at that. It's like a basketball shoe, and the OG felt like a basketball shoe too. In terms of the looks here, I'm not usually the biggest fan of these dark colorways, but I actually really do like the way that this thing looks. All right, zero this thing out. Bro, I forgot how to use the stackerator because we haven't used it in so long. That's crazy. That's crazy. It was a new shoe route. I just ran some miles in some Gucci flip-flops. All right, let's do so here's the thing with this. Hold on, before we do it. If you can see, it has this really aggressive bevel or camber, this roll in the back. So you can either measure it flat or you can tilt it back and measure it. Let's measure it flat first. Bang! Look at that, 54 millimeters. That is the new tallest shoe that we have ever measured in here at the Mint Hill Shoe Market. Mizuno Neo Vista 2. That is max cushion, gang. That's wild. Let's compare that to the OG to see where that comes in. All right, the OG Neo Vista measuring in at, boom, 49.3. So it's gone up a few millimeters. Let me grab the Primex Strong and Glycerin Max so you can get some context on how tall that is. Man, it's literally painful to push myself up off the floor. I am hurting. Today is the worst day in terms of the DOMs from the Murph, which I did Saturday, and it's Tuesday now. I thought it would have been yesterday, Monday, but no, 72 hours after, and oh my goodness. Yeah, my arms are just wrecked. But yeah, Primex Strung 2, this comes in at 47.9 millimeters. Glizzy Max, get a stack check on our friend, the Glizzard. Young Glizzinator. I know you've been a hater. Bang! 40 millimeters. Crib sitting on 40 acres. Kobe Bryant from the Lakers. Now that's paper. You guys know that song? Foreign cars, that's every day. Let's do a remix. Foreign stack, that's every day. I might go 10 days straight new shoes because there's a new shoe drought just popping out of boxes every day, like Juicy J. Yeah, MagMax down at 39.2. So Mizuno Neo Vista, that is some serious stackage in the package. 51 millimeters in the back, and just looking at this thing, it's huge, but it also feels decently lightweight. That's the thing. It's a big shoe, but it's light, and that was one of the key benefits of the V1, the OG, even though I didn't like it that much. It was the smooth geometry and the lightweight. That is what completely saved it for me and what made it a decent shoe for mileage. Now, if you're combining the lightweight, the stack, and the geometry with a great foam here, which we know is a great foam from the Neo Zen, this does have the potential to be a massive, meteoric, missile-launching banger. Hello. Aw, look at that. So we finally have a good angle up here. You can see the numbers and everything. So let's weigh in the OG Neo Vista. Hopefully we went down a weight. This thing came in at 280 grams, which is really light. For some context, if you compare it to another shoe that is similar, definitely similar, but not the exact same. The Neo Vista is more designed for potentially picking up the pace, even though it's not a speed shoe. Whereas this shoe on the scale right now, the Glizzinator, aka the Glizzy Max, aka the Glycerin Max, Mr. Glycerin Max, 332 grams. So this is 50 grams heavier, but the comfort here was a lot better. The support was a lot better. Just two different types of shoes, but that's the thing I had with the Neo Vista. I cannot emphasize this enough. It was just a lost shoe for me. I didn't know what to compare it to, what exactly it was supposed to do. It just caught in no man's land. It didn't have the heft of a Glycerin Max, and it also didn't have the aggression of a Mizuno Wave Rebellion Flash 2 or an Adidas Boston 13, even though it had the plate. It was one of the shoes that just felt like they put a plate in it and put a lot of foam in it to sell it, but they didn't know exactly what it was supposed to do. Hopefully, those issues are corrected. But for some context here, 330 grams in the Glycerin Max, and if you remember the stack height, this was down near 40. Adidas Primex Strung 2, full race foam with the 2 carbon fiber plates. This is a very similar shoe to the Neo Vista 2 in terms of what they're both intending to do. Long run shoes for picking up the pace. This does have the full race foam though, 323 grams here. That is a chunky boy, especially given the race foam you have. And then on the other end of the spectrum, let's throw the Neo Zen. So Neo Zen here, very light shoe, 257 grams. So all on the way on the lighter end of the spectrum, you have the Neo Zen, non-plated, more of a daily shoe, 257. And then you can see these Max Cushion Gang shoes like the Primex Strung 2 and the Glycerin Max. Those are up at 330. Now, moment of truth here. Oh, we've got to take our tag off the Vista 2. This feels competitive for weight. Let's see. My guess is 317. Ooh, man, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. 286 grams. That is really good given the stack, and that is technically more or heavier than the Vista 1, but I'll take 6 grams heavier, especially given that the rubber looks better and they've closed up that weird thing in the back that I was telling you about, or the bottom, the fact that it felt like I was running on top of nothing here, and they've gone to this better foam. So the way I would look at it is 50 grams lighter than the Primex Strung. If this has some of the juice of the Primex Strung, if we can pick up the pace some, that will be a banger. So 30 grams heavier than the Neo Vista or the Neo Zen, but you get the additional foam, you get the better rubber, and you get the plate. Now let's check the other side for QA. All right, right side coming in at, boom, 284.9. Look at that. Really good QA, Mizuno. Bloop and a blast, baby. Let's go. I'm optimistic that this is going to be a good shoe. What the heck? Cut the beat! Cut the beat! This is Gluteus Maximus. You see this? This is complete booty. I can't even go to the gym because they closed my gym. the Barefoot Mafia came. The Barefoot Mafia private equity fund came. They bought my gym and they shut it down just so I would have nowhere to run. No, but they actually did shut my gym down, so I guess it's good. They're going to open it up under a new name. But for today, oh my goodness. This is the first day back after vacation, too. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right, drop the beat. We got to get some glamour shots, man. The show must go on. Man, Mizuno actually crushed it with the design on these. And by the way, I came back inside. There's no way I'm going to go stand outside and get rained on while lacing these up. Are you kidding me? I'm about to get rained on for about 90 or so minutes. But, ooh, fit and feel. Stepping in here. I'm not even fully inserted. And this is another one of these shoes where it's just a fight to get on the upper. Yeah, that's a problem right there. But yeah, the step in, the foam, the squish is nice and soft. One weird thing on the Vista 2 here, this midfoot bump. I was talking about this on the Alpha Fly the other day, but there is a lot of foam in the midfoot. That's something that I did not like about the Vista OG as well. Not that there's a lot of foam, but that there's more foam in the middle than the back. It's just a weird lace-up experience. When you step into it, you either have to lean forward or lean back. You can't just have a normal center of gravity where you're just standing flat-footed. It's either going to put you up on the front or it'll lean you back. Now, when you're running, it's not as noticeable because, of course, you are going forward, so you're leaning forward, but standing, it's a really odd sensation. And one of the reasons it doesn't make sense to me is in the race shoes, like the Wave Rebellion Pro 3, the reason they do it is to get around those stack height regulations. So they cut off the foam in the back so it's below 40 millimeters. But in a training shoe, you don't need to do that. There's no regulations about how much foam could be in a training shoe. So that's one of the things that, again, like the upper, I really wish they fixed that. Some of these issues that I had in the OG are unfortunately still here in the 2. But a good midsole fixes everything. So if this thing gives us some juice out there on the run, all of those sins will be forgotten. Yeah, the other benefit out here this morning of the rain is that we will get a wet weather grip test. And I was actually initially planning to get a longer run this morning because I didn't run yesterday. It was Memorial Day, and we went down to Congaree National Park, which I learned this morning is the 10th least visited national park. You don't want that designation to be the 10th least visited national park. The other national park in our area, the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, they are the most visited national park. But yeah, Congaree National Park, lots of tall trees. But I took the day off so I could hang with the fam. So I was thinking of making up some mileage this morning, but we'll see now that it's so rainy. All right, both of these are on feet. Good fit here. Just about true to size. You do have the classic Mizuno extra room where it fits maybe even half a size big for some people. I really try to avoid sizing up or down. I sized up in the Adios Pro 4 and then it was too big, and if I sized down, that's just not going to be good either. So I would just get it true to size. Yeah, foam feels nice. Quick walk test here. So yeah, the foam is good. The rocker geometry is still there. It's awesome, nice and smooth. This upper is just weak, man. I can feel my heel just slipping around in the back here. And I have these tied down pretty tight. And I don't remember this issue in the Vista 1 or the Zen, but there's some slip in the back. And it's not a length issue because the Zen fits pretty much identically to this. So yeah, a bit of a weird upper here. I'd say that's the one downside so far. Let's see, grip. Ooh, it's slick on the hardwood, but all right, I think I'm just delaying at this point. Let's go out there and run. I'm aiming for at least 12 miles this morning. We'll see how it evolves out there in the brutal downpour. Let's do this gosh dang thing. Before we go here and get these completely destroyed, I just want to say the look and design is just excellent. So they put the Mizuno logo on the inside here. That's a different thing that I haven't seen a lot of brands do, if maybe no other brand. Look, the outside is basically completely empty, and then it's on the inside. Looks sick from the top, and then the navy with this green is really sharp. It doesn't look that impressive on the computer, and the thing is, most of the glamour shots you'll see on the product listing page on the computer, they're from the side, from the outside. So you'll see it like this, and you don't see that logo popping in anything. But yeah, from the top, from the inside, it looks so good on foot. I don't know if the camera is going to do it justice, but this looks like a $200 shoe in terms of the design and the attention to detail. Really clean. I'm going to grab some iPhone pictures, because I think sometimes the iPhone pictures are the ones that actually make it look the most like how you'd see it from the human eye. But all right, we got to do this thing. I think if you're on the line about which colorway to get, you are not going to be disappointed about this navy one. I don't even think it's on Running Warehouse though, so I'll just wait till it gets on Running Warehouse. This is gonna be, man, this is not gonna be fun. I do have my Supwell rain jacket on, but gosh. Say a prayer for me. Still waiting for GPS. See, now I'm just a Garmin guy, and I do all the Garmin things. I wait for the GPS. I look at my sleep score. I don't like it. I don't like it. All right, let's go. Oh man, early overreaction here. This feels really similar to the OG. It's tall, it's highly cushioned, feels super floaty. I'm levitating right now. I am not touching the ground. But like the OG, so far it does lack some of that bite. It is very soft. Even softer now because of the Zen foam. So we'll see how this evolves, but I don't know, man. Something about this shoe just, I was excited. It just doesn't hit for me. I almost feel like it needs a carbon plate. It's just a little flaccid. Yeah, early overreaction. This is too soft for what I want this type of shoe to be. We'll give it some time though. Man, it is so tall. This is such a tall shoe. It is crazy. By the way, grip so far is decent. Yeah, it's decent. Not bad. We'll see once I start rounding some corners. With how much foam this has, I don't know if the early overreaction is even going to be useful, because very much feels like a long running shoe. So I'll just try to settle in here. It's a tough morning to get a 90-minute run, but we'll make it happen. This is why I could never live in the United Kingdom. I can't deal with all this rain. It's brutal. Yeah, so far this just feels like too much foam. It's crazy. There's a reason there's not a lot of 50mm shoes, especially with foams this soft. Mile 1 here, 7:47 pace.
let me just finish out the early overreaction. Might as well. Yeah, so far it just has a lot of the elements that I didn't like about the OG. The massive amount of cushion without a ton of bounce. A softness to it where it feels like it's sapping my energy instead of giving me energy. The illusion of it being a fast shoe because it has a plate, but then it's sipping like a lukewarm cup of Earl Grey tea. Yeah, this is just not doing it for me. And $20 more expensive. It's weird because I love the Zen, but the Zen foam in here so far is just feeling like it's made the shoe worse. Because now it's even softer and it has more of that quicksand feeling. All right, that was the early overreaction. Hopefully I'll get something else out of this shoe. It's fine. It's just, I was in the Nimbus yesterday. I feel like I could get the same thing out of a Nimbus for $165, or the last version of this for $120. And I'm gonna try to pick up the pace a touch, warm up into it, see if that helps. Oh man, I'm fighting the wind. Yeah, I'm not gonna be picking up the pace easily today. I'm running 7 flats, but it feels like a 6:30 in the wind, in the rain. Definitely better. Getting more out of this foam. Almost at mile 2 here. I really wanted to like this thing. So far I just don't. I just don't. It's fine. It's just a ton of foam. Oh my goodness. Feels like a ton of foam without a purpose. Man, I'm biting my tongue. I'm biting my tongue. I'm giving it a chance. I am giving, if I were to say something at mile 2.67, if I were to say something about my true feelings of the shoe, if I were right now, it might be something like, this feels worse than the OG and it's an expensive disappointment. But I'm not gonna say anything yet. I'm gonna bite my tongue. I just wanna give it a chance. It's $200, man. And this is the thing. Now I'm upset because I spent $200 on the shoe. And if I know it's trash after 3 miles, I paid, hold on, Hobby Jugger Mac, $66? Is that right? Something like that. Per mile? Gosh dang, 60 something dollars per mile. And so I'm not gonna say it's trash yet. I'm gonna give it a chance. And I have to remind myself, I didn't like the MagMax at first. It became my favorite training shoe. I didn't even like the Alpha Fly that much at first. It is just the first run review. We're only at mile 2.82. Maybe it needs some braking. Mile 3, 7:33 pace. You also shouldn't forget that it's totally possible I'm using the shoe wrong and or got a defective pair. So we have to keep that in mind. The other possibility is that I might just be too slow for the shoe. So, or maybe I'm too fast for the shoe. Probably both. I'm too slow and I'm too fast. Or maybe my cadence is too low. Let me try running at a 180 step per minute cadence. Yeah, that actually is better. I just heard a tree branch crack. It's not a game out here. I'm risking my life for this mileage. The positive is, if you're watching this, I got home safely. So here are my main problems with this shoe. First, there are a ton of other shoes that do what this does, exactly what this does, for a lot cheaper. Second, for a mileage shoe, which is the point of this. This is designed to be a long distance cruiser, a mileage building shoe. I want something that disappears on foot. Yes, I want comfort, but I don't want weirdness. This has a lot of weirdness. The upper is weird. The stability is weird. It's not even a pronation or over pronation stability. It's just the whole thing is marshmallowy and squishy, just weirdness. It is not gonna disappear on foot. And then third, again, it's just a lost product. Is it a speed shoe? Is it a mileage shoe? It's a mileage shoe, but they put the plate. It's a weird shoe, man. I have no problem recommending a $200 shoe. I have no problem buying one with my own money. I have no problem with buying a $500 shoe and testing it. But you gotta be giving me something more. This is my issue with this shoe at 180 and the OG. Just wasn't giving me anything more. Same problem here, and they've made it $20 more expensive. It feels like this needs the real race foam, and for 200 bucks it should have it. It shouldn't have the Zen foam. I warmed up, so I put the rain jacket back. It kept me completely dry, which is nice, and now I'm gonna get soaked. I want to put a new rule out there. If you're gonna put a plate in a shoe, it needs to have a real race foam. That doesn't mean PIVA, it doesn't mean TPEE, but whatever your top race foam is, or even second race foam, like Power Run PB now, you gotta put that in the plate of shoe. This doesn't have a race foam, so why does it have a plate? Stuff that drives me insane. Made me spend $200 for at mile 4.63 and I already have my take in. Gosh dang. I should write brick on this, sell it for $450 on the Supwell app like I'm Virgil. Might make the business model make a little more sense. Make me spend $200 on this. I need to say 3 good things about this shoe. I've been too negative, and that's just how it's making me feel. First good thing, the grip is solid for sure. It's wet out here and I'm not slipping. Second is the comfort. Definitely a comfortable shoe. Lots of cushion. Third, I'll get back to you on the third. I have to think of one. Mile 6, 7:30 pace. Yeah, it's definitely a long run shoe. Oh. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. Should have kept the jacket. I'm gonna get hypothermia. These shoes are not worth hypothermia. Mother Nature is winning today. I just want everyone to know this is extremely unpleasant. This is massively unenjoyable. This is violently British. I really wish I said minimum 10 miles. I said minimum 12 miles, which means I actually have to run 12 miles. We're only at 7.93. Yeah, there's a reason I don't run in this stuff anymore. And here's the thing. Some people say, oh, well, it might rain on race day. Bro, if it's like this on race day, I'm not getting a PR. I am not getting my goal time if it's like this on race day. I can't believe no one is forcing me to do this. How? How am I out here voluntarily? That makes no sense. What? What? Nah, someone had to have forced me to do this. There's no way I'm out here just on my own, by my own free will. No chance. I honestly might stop at the gas station, have Charlie come pick me up. This is egregious. Almost at mile 10, I'm done. I'm gonna go to the gas station and call Charlie. This run is over. Don't be one of those running is a privilege people. This is not a privilege. Sitting inside with dry clothes after a warm shower, that's a privilege. It is terrible. Somehow picking up. What the heck? Ah! Ah! Little rain can't stop me. I know a lot of soft boys out there complaining about the rain, whining. Not me. Not me. You know what we do? We go out there and we silently put in the work. Silent, no complaining. Oh, man. All right, let's see what we got here. And it's still coming down. That's crazy. I'll give this a moderate. Nah, that was not somewhat hard. It was somewhat hard because of the rain in the beginning, but... Bro, I hit mile 12 and the slug just kicked in. I said, I am not going out sad today. We are getting some miles, and we are not going to let the rain win. Let's go. So that was a 17 piece. 2 hours, 12 minutes, 19 seconds, 7:43 pace in the Neo Vista 2. And look at this. Can you see this? Gaudy trigger warning for blood people. We got some Mach X2 action back there. And I'm not wearing the features today. I'm wearing... I actually don't know what brand these are. I'm wearing some other brand of sock, but these did cut me up real good. But man, first hour in these things, maybe even first 90 minutes, I did not like them at all. And it's funny because I came into the run expecting to love them and wanting to love them, especially from my experience with the Neo Zen. And then I was trying not to hate them. And I really was hating them for the first hour or so. But it's interesting. Even just within that run, you can see we have some break-in lines on this foam. Look at that. And that's why I was trying to bite my tongue. I was doing a terrible job of trying to bite my tongue, by the way, in the beginning. Because I really think this is a shoe that is going to reward you for patience and mileage. And this is just a first run review. And I got 17 miles, but this is a shoe that's designed for long runs and long miles. So I'm going to take some time to get a read on it, but I'm telling you, man, once we hit mile 12, just about 90 minutes in there, something switched, both with my mindset and my mentality. And I was just hating this run because of the rain. It was really a truly miserable experience, but something with the shoe as well, like the MagMax, like the Nova Blast 4, some of these longer run shoes with a lot of cushion, they just need some time. They need you to put some time in them for them to really come alive and for you to experience what they're designed to do. And it's like the Streak Fly, right? I wouldn't take the Streak Fly out for a 17-mile, 2 hour and 12-minute run. Same thing with this thing. No matter the pace, going out for a 30-minute jog, that's not what this is optimal for. The Neo Zen is really the shoe for that. So, yeah, I did not like the shoe in the beginning at all, but going 2 hours in it, man, this is a solid shoe for that. Now, $200, is that the right price? Tough to say. Oh, man, it smells absolutely incredible in here. Is that banana bread? Cornbread. Had to stuff some paper towels or newspaper in here, wipe them down, put the newspaper, hopefully they'll dry by this afternoon. Talking about it's a privilege to run outside in the rain. Stop it. No, it's not. This is the gosh dang privilege. Look at me. That's the privilege, baby. Nice warm hoodie. Inside, perfect climate-controlled environment. This is the privilege. This is the privilege. This is what our ancestors fought and died for. Not running outside in the rain. That's what they were trying to escape. Don't get it twisted. This is the Refuel. Some nice pasta. Some fusilli pasta salad with vegan feta, chickpeas, tomato, pickled onions, cucumber. This is fire. It's not typically what I would go for. It's some cold pasta, but Charles crushed it for this. Nice summer meal. And then I'm going to get some coffee going too. We got to get the coffee going today. I'm going to try the second bag of Funked. He sent me, my guy Miller from Funked, sent me 3 bags. This is the Pink Bourbon Creation. Semi-washed process with anaerobic fermentation. This is going to be a banger. I can already tell. And yeah, typically I would do the breakdown right now, but it's still raining. So I'm hoping if I hold off till the afternoon,
it'll stop raining. It's still going. It is still going. Zeus must have been listening to some Larry June, because it's still going. I can't believe I ran in this. I did my duty. I'm never running in the rain again. Miserable. Look at that. I really hope it stops for this afternoon, because I don't have a gym membership. So we got the coffee all brewed up. Little sniff test. Ooh, that's dark. That is dark. There's some currant in there. Oatmeal raisin cookie. And hold on, one more sniff. Sugar plum. That is sugar plum right there. I one sip. Everybody knows the rules. Ooh. That is scalding hot, but oatmeal raisin cookie, man. That the oats and the cinnamon, but with the fruitiness of the raisin, bang. That's fire right there. Shout out to Funked putting in work. That's a good looking shoe. Hold on, that would be for... Woo! Woo! On the road like a trucker, man. Had to take some trips. Project Pata. Mileage stacker. Oh gosh! No! No! Oh gosh. You just witnessed one of the biggest L's of 2025 right there. It was all... Hold on. Nah, that's done. Oh gosh, that's tough. That's tough. Left the AirPods straight in the puddle. All right. Life We Live by Project Pat. That's what I was listening to. Banger. Project Pat. Mileage stacker. Yeah, let's get into it, man. Mizuno Neo Vista 2. This was a trip. This was quite the journey today. It was pouring rain. I can't even stand out here because there's puddles. I'm dropping AirPods left and right. But this is a mileage shoe. This is a mileage shoe, so we got to put it through the mileage. We ended up with, bang, let's throw it up here, 17 miles on the morning. It didn't stop raining the entire time. It just stopped raining. It's my lunch break right now. Thankfully, I was able to pop out here and do this in the dry, and I am going to come back out here in the afternoon and put some more miles on this thing. But, man, it was the highs and the lows. It was the highs and the lows, so let's get into it. First 30 minutes, it felt like a lot of shoe. It felt soft and mushy. It felt confusing. It felt like one of these shoes that really does not have a purpose. And if you look at the Mizuno lineup, the Neo Zen is sitting there for $150. The cynical way to look at this thing would be, it's a Neo Zen with a worse foam on the bottom and a piece of plastic in the middle for $50 more expensive. But as I got deeper into that run, as I passed the 90-minute mark, as I passed the 2-hour mark, this thing really showed me what it is trying to do. This is a true mileage shoe. This is a long run shoe. This is a shoe that's designed for comfort over long distances with some sort of running assistance. Now, I'm not gonna say speed assistance because this is most certainly not a fast shoe. It is a big, funky, chunky monkey. It's a massive shoe, 51mm stack in the back, but there are elements to it that are designed to make it easy to run. Charles is backing out down the driveway here. I thought she was gonna hit me. Oh gosh. I might have to throw this in some rice or something, see if I can bring it back to life. Yeah, the rocker from the OG Neo Vista, still great. The lightweight is still great, and it doesn't have the change that they made here with the bottom is actually a really nice change. I didn't feel that weird emptiness, which was the issue with the OG, or one of the issues I had. It just felt weird landing on top of nothing. I wasn't getting that here, so them closing that up was nice. They really did take into account some of the consumer feedback, which is, man, that foam was boring. This is not a boring ride, which is nice. They've softened it up. It is a very soft, borderline, mushy shoe, but they closed it up, which is good, and the protection is top notch. So good qualities to this. Lightweight for how much stack you're getting, protection, and the smoothness. This is so smooth, very similar to the OG Neo Vista. You feel like you could just keep running and running for hours and hours. So I think part of my issue coming into this is I expected it to be something it was not. So I was really disappointed first few miles there, and I did not like this thing, and I still don't think this is going to be the best shoe if you're only running up to an hour. That's where the Neo Zen comes into play. $50 cheaper. You get this great foam here, but with the additional stack height, with the plastic plate, with the firmer foam on the bottom, it's designed to be a more supportive option for those longer miles. Also, I should say another good thing, grip on the bottom. So as I got past 90 minutes, this is where it really started showing me what it can do, and it did not fatigue or bottom out over the course of this run, which is odd for a shoe this soft. That's something the Neo Zen had as well, and it just goes to show these new compounds, right? The supercritical TPU, such a good foam. Such a good foam. So Mizuno is still up there in terms of top of the game with the foam development. It's just, you need to come into this with the right mindset, which I did not this morning. I was expecting this to be more aggressive for some reason, even though the Neo Vista one was not. I was expecting this to give me more pop and bounce. It has some bounce, but it's more of a smooth, buttery bop along than it is an aggressive bounce. It's not as bouncy as the MagMax. It's more about the smoothness and the impact absorption and the soft landing. So I would think soft landings and a smooth turnover versus an aggressive bounce. The thing is with the MagMax, once you get that thing going, even though it's 50 grams in my size heavier than this, it's just so bouncy. This is not bouncy or aggressive at all. But 2 hours to this morning, let's throw up the run again. We went 2 hours, 2 hours 15, and if you skip to the end, I don't blame you because it's probably going to be a gosh dang long video, but I was fighting the rain. Some of the worst rain that I had ever run in, and that was slowing me down in the middle, and I also it was hard. I felt like I couldn't get a good read on the shoe at some points, but as the rain went away and we crested the wave and got toward the end of the run and I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, just so easy to keep running the shoes. One of those mornings where I felt like I could just keep going and going and going, and I ended up doing that, which landed us at 17 miles, and I still felt like I could keep going in this shoe. So purpose built for long runs. Still not sure about the value at $200. That is expensive given everything else on the market, but I'm happy to say I am not disappointed. It's just, it still isn't what I was expecting it to be given the updates. That's mainly because they're using the training foam in here and not the race foam, and that's the one area where I'm thinking, man, if they updated this to the foam that's in the Wave Rebellion Pro 3, it could be even better, but maybe that's what they're going to do in the Flash 2. If they do some sort of dual foam, or the Flash 3, dual foam in that with the race foam in it's called the Energy XP. This is the Energy Next. That's going to be an incredible shoe. But with this one, think soft, smooth comfort for long runs. All right, let's go through those 3 questions that we always answer on these first run reviews. First, how does this compare to its intended purpose? Now, again, you got to come into this thinking of this as a long run shoe. This is a mileage shoe. This is a distance shoe. It is not a speed training shoe. Same thing as the Nike Streak Fly, but on the other end of the spectrum. If you go into the Streak Fly, wanting it to be a long run cruiser, if you're looking for something for half marathon training and you buy the Streak Fly to do 10-mile long runs, you're going to be severely disappointed, and you also might be hurting and in pain. With this one, you're not going to be hurting in pain for 30-minute training, but if you're mostly doing 30-minute runs, it's just a lot of shoe, and this is the downside of it. I really felt like it was too bulky for the first hour, and it's weird with these shoes. The Nova Blast 4, even sometimes the Glycerin Max is better, but the MagMax, a lot of these bigger Max Cushion Gang shoes, they just feel like overkill for shorter runs. This has that to it. It feels Run number 2. How do you do? AirPod took a splasher. That's the issue with the Project Pat flow. Once it's in your head, it's just not going away. It's so catchy. I'm just gonna be Project Pat for the rest of the day. All right, let's see. Decently dry. I actually switched out, so I put the newspaper in, and then I switched it out about 30 minutes later, maybe 45 to an hour later to refresh it, and decently dry. The run number 2. I haven't done a big mileage day in a while. I've been getting soft and sweet. But when we have a 50 millimeter shoe rolled through the shoe market, you better believe we're racking and stacking and attacking. Yeah, upper here, this is really the key issue of this shoe, and I think that's what's contributing to the sloppiness. And this is a hard shoe to figure out because there's so many good elements to it, and there's also just weird, not enjoyable elements to it. So taking me some time to really get a read on it. This is a meandering journey of mileage. Maybe that's the new tagline for this channel, meandering journey of mileage. Yeah, decently dry, and you can see here, so look at the difference between these socks. These Features tab socks, they go all the way up. If I had these on earlier this morning, I would not have gotten that cut, the blister, and you can see, look at my little kid's Band-Aid right there, but it's completely covered. That place where I was getting the rubbing is completely covered by the sock, so it really does make a difference. I just ordered 9 pairs of new socks from a new brand because there was a good sale, so I hope that they have this too, but I did get the tab version. All right, second round of the day. We're stacking mileage, baby. Let's do this thing. Let's go. Let's go. I keep forgetting with the Garmin. I have to sit down. Oh, look who it is. Look who it is. All right, boom. There we go. Perceived effort. I would say that was moderate because we went 8 miles, but I felt strong, surprisingly strong on that one. We went 8 miles. That's a 25-mile day. I was hungry for some mileage this morning. 1 hour, 2 minutes, 28 seconds, 7:33 pace, average heart rate 140. That's some good mileage. That is some really good mileage in the Neo Vista too. And I'm glad we did a big mile day in this thing because this is a shoe that really needs it. And I think I felt even better on that second run, and the shoe felt even better on the second run than the first. And I finally have a well-formed take. It took some miles, 25 miles to get it, but headline here is this is a shoe that does all the big things right and the little things horribly. And also look at this, man, beautiful break-in lines. So 25 miles, it's gotten probably its true character, and I really enjoy the ride of this midsole. I really do. So the big things that it's gotten right, 3 key areas. The weight, super lightweight for how much stack you get, and insanely lightweight really for what you're getting here. The midsole composition, so the way that these 3 elements work together, the top layer of the soft bouncy foam, the plastic plate, and the plate is not adding aggression whatsoever. Do not expect this to be a fast shoe. Matter of fact, on the second run here, I was coming in at around a 7:10, 7:15 pace at the end, and really felt like I was maxing out how fast you could go with this thing. It does not have a lot of range. Any faster than that, of course you can do it. You can run fast in anything. I could attempt a sub 5-minute mile in this, but it's just not going to feel good for that. That's not what this is designed to do. It says right here, crafted to experience effortless performance. I would even change that to say effortless mileage. That would be more accurate. But third element is the rocker, and that was one of the nice things about the Neo Vista OG. And same thing here. It's almost impossible to heel strike. It puts you right on this flat-footed position, and then it just rolls you right along. So weight, midsole composition, rocker, nails the 3 biggest things: the geometry, the foam feel, how the shoe feels on foot in terms of it being lightweight, great for longer miles. But then the little things that it does horribly, this upper, it is terrible. My foot is sliding all around in here. I rarely complain about upper issues. I've never gotten my foot cut up by an upper. This thing cut up my foot. I'm sliding around. And I think I have a bigger, if we were to go people who usually wear 10.5, my foot is probably on the bigger size of where 10.5 is. I still rarely size up or down because most fit me, but this is borderline size down, man. And I rarely issue a size down alert again because I just don't like messing with that, and I'd rather have a shoe be too big, especially in a training shoe. I'd rather have it be too big than too small. Too big, you can run in it. Too small, you're going to get your toes banged up and it's going to hurt. But I still don't think I would say size down, but a lot of room in this. You got a ton of room. It is a cavernous upper. So if you have a wide foot or a high volume foot, you are going to enjoy this. If you have a narrow foot, man, probably not going to enjoy this. And then the other thing is, I was realizing some of the sloppiness is coming from the rubber, and especially because earlier this morning it was soaking wet, and that run was just so brutal. I could barely even focus on the feel of the shoe. And I think some of what I was experiencing as mushiness and overly softness in the midsole was actually the rubber slipping, and I could tell on the second run because there were some areas out here that were less wet, and it felt a lot better. So the little things are just not there, man. The upper is not dialed. There's the rubbing, the fit is horrible, and then the rubber isn't great. So I still do think the strengths outweigh the weaknesses, but it is not a perfect shoe. It is a highly flawed shoe with an incredible midsole experience once it's broken in, and if you're really going to use it for high mileage. Again, if you're going up to an hour only, just grab the Neo Zen at 150. That's a great value shoe. But man, high mileage marathon training, if you're ultra training, dude, this thing will be a beast. If you're going back-to-back 20-mile long runs at a relaxed pace on the weekend, this might be one of the best shoes out there for that. This, and then a race shoe, something like the Puma DVA Nitro Elite 3 or even the MagMax, that'll be a killer combination for ultra training. But yeah, first run, great shoe for mileage. Midsole experience is good. It's going to take some break-in. You can even see here. And I think it probably compacting down some and some of that wildness going away is a good thing. Upper, not good. And rubber, not good. So solid B+, A-. Fun shoe for some mileage, but you got to come into it with the right mindset. So bang, that's all I have for you today. We went 25 miles. That's a good day of training in the books. I took a day off yesterday. That's a 0 on a Monday. I do not like doing that, but we're now up to 25 on a Tuesday, so we're in good shape to get our mileage and to be recovered for our workout later this week. And the fueling helped a ton today. I had 2 corn muffins, huge bowl of pasta salad, and then a burrito before the second run. And one of the benefits of doing this high mileage training is you teach your body to conserve glycogen. And some people don't fuel as much between the doubles, but I don't mess around with that. If I'm running 100 miles consistently, I'm going to teach my body to conserve glycogen and burn fat. I don't need to mess around with the fueling. So we're back on track with the fueling, back on track with the training. We're going to be popping out with the new shoes this week at the shoe market. I will see you tomorrow.